I hope this finds you well and living your best life in Jesus Christ. I count it as one of the greatest blessings in my life that Nancy and I have been able to help care for Landry and watch him grow up. With the death of my son in 2013, Nancy and I grieved that we would never have grandchildren of our own. That was a very difficult thing to bear, on top of the grief of losing our only child. But God, in His infinite grace, blessed our lives by sending us Landry, so that in spite of our grief, we would have His love in our lives. I cannot describe the joy that we've found in having Him in our lives. God is indeed good to us. When my son was young, and even later in his life, I made it my goal to never let a day go by without telling him that I loved him. My father was not the kind of person to say, I love you. And I made it a point to tell him many times a day. So then when bedtime came, I always kissed his head and I said, I love you, boy. To which he replied, I love you too, Dad. When he was in his 30s, he told me that he planned to do the same thing when he had kids because he said no matter what, he always knew that we loved him and that we would be there for him. And he said it was always good to hear, especially when his life was going badly. We try to make sure we not only show Landry we love him every day, but to tell him every day. You see, that's what our Heavenly Father does for us every day. He provides miracle after miracle each day, each one greater than the last, and each one is His voice saying, I love you. He says, I love you when we open our eyes from sleep. He says it with every breath we take, with our every meal, with the sunshine and the rain, and in each and every person we meet, even the difficult ones. He says, I love you when He keeps His hand over us and those we love, protecting us when we don't even know about it. He wraps us in His strength and says, I love you when life gets hard and we don't think we have the strength to go on. He shows His love to us repeatedly, every day, in so many ways it just boggles my little human brain to contemplate. A lot of times Landry, like us, when he's busy, it just goes over his head, ignored, unnoticed, taken for granted. But sometimes, when Landry's playing a game or watching TV or just running around and being a boy, he'll stop and he'll look at me for no particular reason and say, love you, Pop. And my heart leaps with joy every time he does it because he understands how important it is to show love. He knows, as little as he is, that he is loved. And what a blessing that is. And he wants to make sure that we know he loves us too. In 1 John 4:8, it plainly states that whoever does not love does not know God because God is love. When we show love, we're emulating the very nature of God. It's vitally important that we tell Him what we love Him back. We need to make sure that we show our gratitude for all the things He provides for us. See, He loves us like a parent loves his child, and what parent doesn't love to hear their child say, I love you? Of all the wonderful gifts our Heavenly Father has given us, the most costly was His own Son, Jesus Christ. He knew we were sentenced to death without someone to stand in our place and to forgive us, and so He gave that ultimate expression of His love. All He really asks is that we accept this gift from His love. We all know John 3:16, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to love Landry no matter if he never tells me he loves me back. My love for him is unconditional, and so is God's love for us. He's going to love us whether we tell Him or not. But what does it really cost to take a moment every day and tell Him, as well as those you love here on earth, that you love Him? A moment or two? So today, let's just take a moment and ponder the great love of God for us. What He gifts us with every day. What He sacrificed for us. And just stop for a minute and say, love you, Father. Believe me, it will fill His heart with joy. And guess what? It will fill your own as well. I hope you make today a terrific day. I want you to know that I'm here if you need me. And I love you all.